Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 392. Wow, 392. And I'm calling it It's All About Grace. And this is all kind of going in line with what, some events that happened at the experience this weekend. And yesterday I talked about being the butterfly and that we all have a pivotal moment, a moment when we have to make a decision. And I kind of looked at it as a decision to break through the cocoon and become the butterfly, or we drop into that place where we don't feel so good and our emotions are brought down or our moods brought down and we don't accomplish as much and we don't feel as good about ourselves. Today I wanted to talk about grace because I was thinking about what is it that allows us to break through the cocoon, that break through that cocoon, to let our wings expand and to let us fly. And what I was thinking about is it's grace. And I apologize, my cat is talking to me in the background. He probably recognizes this little work name tag and he isn't happy about it. But getting back to the topic, it's all about grace. And what I realized is in a moment when you have to decide whether you're going to break through and become the butterfly or whether you're going to stay in the cocoon and graduate or drop lower into places of not feeling good about yourself, what is it that I think allows us to break through? And I think it's grace. And I looked up some articles this morning about grace so that I could even kind of bring it in together with myself, because I think I was presented with something this weekend that I needed to noodle and look at and decide how to move forward with it. And what I found is when I was doing research about grace this morning is, what is grace exactly? It's letting go of self-criticism, pity, and shame. And talking about shame, ironically, yesterday in Doc V's live in our Transform Your Life, Transform Your Life is his free group, but in his paid challenge group, he talked about shame and how shame is a word that none of us ever want to use. So of course, shame is not going to be helpful to this state of grace or finding this place of grace about feeling good about ourselves and releasing criticism and pity. And what it basically said is shame is as an emotion is destructive, and it left to fester, it can cause some damage. And I thought about it, and I know in my life I've heard people say shame on you. I know I've been said shame on you too. I know I've even been guilty of saying those words because no excuses, I'm responsible for what I do, but it was something that I heard as a child. So that's something I'm going to have to try to be really conscious of to make sure that I'm not saying it, because I agree. Shame is not something that any one of us should have to hold on to and carry with us, because it becomes a very heavy burden and one we don't want to hold on to. So avoid this idea of shame. They actually kind of talked about that shame comes from Proto-Indo-European word, which means to cover. So shame is covering the feelings that are causing us pain, which is not allowing us grace. So I do agree with what Doc V was talking about, and I am by no means even digging a inch or two into what Doc V was talking about yesterday, but shame is destructive. Let it go. It won't help in grace. I don't know. I see Joan. Hello, Joan. Good morning. It's so good to see you. I have to head out the door in a few minutes, so I wanted to get on live before I left, because I had some monumental things happen this weekend. Really big things happened that I want to move forward with. And this idea today about grace is in recognizing that I truly believe that in some of the most critical times of my life, instead of breaking through and giving myself grace and giving myself hope to move forward, I fell down. I felt like a failure, or I felt shame and I felt bad. And so that's why this was really important to me today. And maybe the trigger was Doc V's talk in our challenge group yesterday about shame. But shame is not something any of us should feel. We are all learning in this life. We are all moving forward, and we are all entitled to try to reach for more and to try to be more, because anything you do to make your life better helps somebody else down the line, whether you ever see it or not. I think it's just putting a positive energy into the world, a positive feeling, a positive mood, and without ever realizing it, if you're feeling better about yourself, you may run across a person in a store that just by being kind and smiling at them, you might make things different for them. So again, we have to give ourselves grace. And what does that mean? That means getting rid of self-criticism, pity, and shame. and avoiding shame at all costs. And even myself, I recognize that I grew up with that word shame, and I've got to learn how to let go of it. It talked about what do we do to find that place of grace, and finding that place of grace includes some form of action, some form of self-care. And I found over the past couple of years, this kind of talks about self-care is about like repairing relationships and accepting where you're at, and acceptance of who you are. And I know that for me, when I'm struggling with that point of feeling good about myself or an event that happened, the tools that I use and I go back to a lot and I talk about a lot are meditation, are affirmations, and they are those things called pre-paving statements, which those came from Zara Mahoon in the Unlimited journal group that I'm a part of. And really what a pre-paving statement is I just have a card with me that will say something like, good morning, I want to have a great day. I want to be happy and joyful. I want to appreciate myself and others, and I want that day to end with feeling good about myself. Or I'll end the day saying, I'm going to bed now. I want to rest and rejuvenate and relax, and I want to wake up feeling energized and eager for the day. But I have statements like that I'll say to myself all through the day, just to kind of remind myself of where I want to head and not allow myself to fall into that place of criticism, pity, and shame. So again, these are all things that are kind of coming to me, like one came from the other, like I was thinking about yesterday when I was talking about either releasing the cocoon and becoming the butterfly, or getting stuck, or worse yet, falling through. And I wondered, what was it that causes me to move forward? And I honestly think that is grace. And for me, grace and finding grace is that self-care that is about meditation. It's about affirmations, and it's about those pre-paving statements. And I use them all throughout my day, trying to calm myself. And I think about something that happened to me this weekend, and I thought, all the tools I've learned over the past couple of years, when I was in the heat of it, even though I know the tools for most of my life, I didn't pull them out fast enough. I didn't pull out the things I know make me feel good and give me that extra oomph to kind of push through. I eventually pushed through, but it took me a little bit longer. But you know what? Lesson learned, and we move on. So I guess I just wanted to kind of share this with you before I headed out the door back into the little corporate offices. But I just wanted to share this with you because I think it's so important. I've been in so many places in my life where I had to think about, I guess, unfortunately, sometimes I let myself fall victim too. And from this point forward, I have to be proactive in being the butterfly that's breaking my wing through the cocoon. And I hope that that's the same for you. So I guess basically in ending this, I just want to say that you need to be ready. You need to be open and ready to take the next important step forward with as we're looking at our lives with grace, as we're looking at the things that we face, as we're facing struggles in life that don't feel good, we need to look at ourselves, and we need to look at ourselves with love, with respect, and with a warmth and a caring that allows us to accept grace and to move forward with grace and to feel good about ourselves as we move into the day. I do have to head for the door, but thank you for being here. I'll continue to share. This weekend opened my eyes in so many ways for many different areas of my life. And I'm getting over the strangeness of it, and it's kind of evolving now, but it was one of the best gifts I've given myself. There were some amazing mentors there. I didn't even mention all of them yet, but I will share their names as time goes on. I do need to head for the door, but give yourself grace, give yourself self-care, give yourself a minute to meditate, to talk positively to yourself, to feel good about yourself, to comfort yourself. We all deserve that. And release the self-criticism, the shame, any of those emotions that are not serving us. Remember, this can be a beautiful world if you open yourself up to it. Open yourself up with love, caring, compassion, and let everybody see you shine. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.